Good afternoon everyone, my name is Lewis, welcome back to the channel. I hope I find you all well. Today we're going to be continuing the series of unboxing videos. I've bought some new albums. I just wanted to show them to you, see if they will pique your interest, and perhaps you can not only discover these albums but purchase them for yourself. So I'll get straight on with it. And as you can see, don't adjust your sets. I've brought out my favorite shirt again. I've had some comments about it. I won't let that dissuade me. I like this shirt, so there you go. The first album today is a Japanese jazz album bought by Teramasu Hino, and the album's called Love Nature. There you go, it's kind of got that yin yang symbol on it. Quite like it. Yes, I bought this as part of Record Store Day. As you know, with Japanese jazz, it's very hard to get hold of. Even the repressings of it, they are not particularly, not peculiarly, but particularly it's a case of Japan loves its jazz. They love their own indigenous jazz performers, and they don't really care if the rest of the world likes it or not. It's kind of like, it's just a thing. So when I saw this album come up, I said to myself, you got to have it. You want to expand your Japanese jazz section of your collection. Get onto it, mate. What I have heard of this album, it's quite difficult. It's not easy. And that's, despite my change in tone of voice, that shouldn't be seen as a negative. It's just a thing. It's jazz covers a broad spectrum. There are all sorts of subdivisions in there. This represents one of them. So no regrets that I've bought it. It's in nice gatefold packaging. Super pleased with that. The other artists are Gary Bartz, Reggie Workman. So again, even if I had slight hesitations, the other members of the band are good enough that at least to pique my interest. So yeah, have a look out for this. First of all, have a listen, see if you like it, and if you do, you might just be able to get copies of this still. They certainly will be running out shortly, and if people do have them, expect a price hike because they're scarce on the ground. So check it out. Before I do anything else, let me show you the vinyl for it. It comes in hideous paper in a sleeve, so for the price I paid, it should have been slightly better. There you go. That's the vinyl itself. It looks perfectly flat, but it is wafer thin. I'm disappointed on how thin the vinyl is. They could have made the actual packaging less robust and spent more money on the actual vinyl. That's like 110 grams maybe. It's 120 at the most, but it doesn't feel the most substantial, so that's disappointing. I'll get over it, but that's the way it is. The second album today is on the Jazzman record labels, and this is a recent release for them, and it's by a gentleman called Roscoe Weathers, and it's an album, or an anthology to be more accurate, called I'll Remember. So yeah, this is very nice packaging. It's like the old school kind of 50s feel to it. What's got that? If you have got any albums from the 50s and 60s, it's got that kind of plastic veneer which sometimes peels off. This has a very similar feel, but it's robust. I do like how, maybe not as glossy. I'd want it less glossy as a finish, but in terms of how it actually stands up to, to be moved around, it's a nice bit of packaging, that. So Roscoe Weathers, if you're not familiar with him, and I wasn't until basically before purchasing this particular anthology, damn fine on flute. I'm going to do a little kind of mental competition between him and Lloyd McNeil to see who wins. At some point, I might even do a video of my favorite, well, of the jazz flutists that I have in my collection, and do like a top 10 of my preferred albums and artists. So yeah, definitely glad to have Mr. Weathers join my collection. Yeah, it's from what I've heard of it, I really like it. So there you go. The vinyl itself comes in that horrible standard paper wallet. Oh, that's as flat as a pancake. Yeah, I like the look of that. I like that. There you go. Sorry, I was looking at it for myself rather than showing it to you. So yeah, really nice stuff there. It's clean. It's gonna need a clean, but yeah, I don't. From getting it out of the packaging, that's super clean. Out of paper wallet, like inner sleeve, that's really nice. Looks as flat as a pancake. So yeah, super pleased about that. The third album today is a soundtrack album. Those who are familiar with the channel know that I'm partial to it. I haven't shown so many recently, but yeah, I love a soundtrack, and particularly Italian soundtracks, and this one fits the bill. Metti una sera a cena. And probably my inflections there were completely hideous. But yes, it's by Ennio Morricone, so that should say enough for you. There's some great tracks on here. Back in the day, I had a copy of this and Camille 2000 on CD, which were pretty hard to come by at the time. I've tried to get vinyl versions, so I found a version of this maybe about a year ago, and it was stupidly expensive. So glad this repress came out. It's on the Audio Clarity label. Never heard of them, but they got Cyrillic writing to go along with their kind of like sleeve notes here, or cover notes. So yeah, I can assume just out of the Russian Federation or former Russian Federation this was pressed. Haven't heard this one yet, the actual vinyl copy yet, so I'm expecting it to be maybe not as good as it could be, but we'll see. It was relatively inexpensive, so I was willing to take a chance on it, to be quite honest with you. I'll show you the vinyl for it. Ooh. Okay, first of all, half decent inner sleeve. I'll probably reuse this one. It looks dead flat. Yeah, from what I can see. There you go. There you go. So yeah, 140 gram. Surprised by that compared to the outer packaging. See, I've criticised other people for spending too much money on their packaging and not enough on the vinyl. These guys have got it right, and yes, it slightly surprised me, but that's what happens when you have preconceived ideas. Every now and again they're blown out of the water. So well done, Audio Clarity, for spending a bit more time and money on the actual vinyl itself rather than the outer packaging. You made the right choice. So yeah, super pumped about that. The fourth album today is a spiritual jazz album by the Creative Arts Ensemble, and the album is called One Step Out. So kind of like, yeah, black and white, hand-drawn kind of illustration with a kind of Doctor Who kind of outer limits kind of thing going on there, which I do like. Yes, what I've heard of this album, it sent shivers up my spine. It was that good. We'll see on reflection when I hear it a second and third time whether I still maintain that particular belief. but super glad to have got it. I know it's going to be awkward to try and get hold of it now, but have a listen to it on one of the streaming sites, see if it's one for you and whether or not it fits in your collection. If it does, try and get it sooner rather than later. Again, I think this is, you know, I'm not saying it's a limited piece, but I think supplies of this will dry up rather quickly. So try and get your hands on it sooner rather than later if you do like the sound of it. I know I'm in for an absolute treat, and it's gonna, you know, I've already bought it, so I know it's going to fit in my collection of spiritual jazz. It's you know, it's a subdivision of jazz that I particularly like. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of myself for getting this one. Yeah, there you go. The vinyl itself for the album, I won't show you both of them, but they're one of the good things about it, and it was done by National, so I'm going to give those guys props, because okay, you're giving me a hideous paper sleeve for it, but what you've done is you've given it to me on 180, or was that 160? 160, 180, one or two, but this is solid. This is a chunk. Okay, the label itself is not the most interesting, how they've done that, but who cares, because there's some weight to this vinyl. Yeah, super like that. I think, oh, see, what I was saying about an album earlier, this is exactly what they've done. They've gone for 45 versions of this. Oh, bro, oh, you have my respect. They've done it the correct way. Yeah, bravo. This is going to be an absolute terrific treat. So well done to the people of Outer National. You know how to put albums together and release them. So yeah, fantastic. The last album for today is a compilation of British jazz from 1969 to 1979. By Alan Wakeman, and it's called the Octet Broadcast. I mean, this is one of my favourite covers that I've come across recently. Look at that. I'm not saying that I'd want a whole wall in my house to have that kind of pattern on it. Maybe a section of it, but look how lively that particular colour scheme is. It's got that kind of retro, that 70s, late 60s to 70s retro feel, but it's just done super tastefully. That's the reverse side of it. Beautiful packaging, gatefold, loads of bumps there in terms of information. This one was released on the Gearbox record label, so yeah, big shout out to them, because they did a magnificent job in terms of the out of packaging. Yeah, thumbs up. What I've heard of this album, I super appreciate it. It's very, very good. I'm just trying, the reason for looking behind me is there's a set of albums which are in a similar vein, if I can find it. I really shouldn't be looking away from the camera, and I'm probably gonna have to give up on the whole exercise. No, I can't see it at this moment in time. Yeah, I had a couple of British oh, in fact, it was staring in front of me all the time. Right, this one. If you like this album, you're gonna like that one. Similar ballpark. Yeah, what I've heard of this particular compilation, absolutely, you know, it's a no-brainer. It's got some really nice independent British jazz on there, stuff that you wouldn't normally come across, so I super appreciate that. So well done to the label. The vinyl itself, let's have a quick look. Oh, that's got some weight to it. Yeah, that's got some nice weight, 140, 150 grams there. Yeah, not the most imaginative label on it, but who cares about that? There's two of them in here, no point in showing you the other one. It looks as flat as a pancake, super clean at the moment. Not to say I won't clean it anyway, but yeah, a joy. Yeah, super pleased as punch with those purchases. If you do see this album, by all means have a listen to it, see if it's for you, fits into your particular selection, your catalogue or your collection. It's going to work for me. I've got no doubts about that. I will be playing this quite often. So yes, that is the last album for today's unboxing. Thank you so much for sharing some of your time with me. It's been an absolute pleasure. I hope I wasn't too irritating and just rambling on about stuff I've been buying, but I thought I'd share it with you, give you the opportunity to perhaps get your hands on these albums as well for a reasonable price, seeing as they've been released relatively recently. So best of luck to you. Do look after yourselves, and please consider subscribing, liking, sharing and commenting down below. As I say at the end of every video, it's nice and intimate at this moment in time. I've got the ability to answer people's queries or questions of me in the comment section, and that's a nice thing about being a smaller channel. But yeah, if you've got any friends who are interested in music and may have, you know, a slight interest in jazz, please consider introducing them to my channel. It would be nice to have a few more members around here, but yeah, that's up to you. So until the next episode, thank you so much for joining me, and look after yourselves. I will see you soon. Take care. Bye bye.